Yeah, Rudra, and thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to discuss about the Maharudra Homam. So, what is the significance of Maharudra Homam at the Art of Living International Center during Navratri? Yeah, Rudra, and thank you for joining us today. So, Maharudra Homam is one of the grandest and most powerful Vedic rituals performed during Navratri at the Art of Living International Center in Bengaluru in the divine presence of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji. Navratri itself represents the triumph of the subtle over the gross, of inner strength over outer challenges, and of Shakti's nurturing energy. The Rudra Homam invokes Lord Shiva in his aspect as Rudra, the cosmic force that removes negativity and restores balance. At the center, thousands of seekers gather not merely as spectators, but as participants in a deeply transformative process. With every chant of the Sri Rudram and every offering into the sacred fire, layers of stress and negativity are dissolved from the environment. Gurudev explains that these vibrations don't just uplift individuals but purify the collective consciousness. The Maharudra Homam therefore becomes a blessing not only for those present but also for the world, as the Sankalpa is always universal peace, prosperity, and harmony. Now, why is it performed specifically during Navratri and not at other times of the year? Navratri is considered the most auspicious time to align human life with cosmic rhythms. Each Navratri marks the victory of Shakti, the divine feminine, over tamas or inertia, and rajas or restlessness and the forces of negativity. It is said that during these 9 nights, the Mother Divine's energy is most accessible to devotees. The Maharudra Homam, dedicated to Lord Shiva, complements this beautifully. While Devi represents Shakti, Rudra represents the ultimate dissolution of negativity and obstacles. Their combined invocation generates a balanced environment of Shanti or peace and Shakti or strength and Ananda or bliss. At the Art of Living International Center, Gurudev emphasizes that the timing is intentional. Navratri is a period when nature itself turns inward. Summer ends, harvest begins, and the mind is naturally drawn to contemplation. Performing the Rudra Homam during this time harnesses these energies and magnifies their impact. Thus, the timing is not arbitrary but deeply rooted in Vedic wisdom, ensuring maximum spiritual benefit for participants and the world at large. Now, what is the role of Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji during the Maharudra Homam? Gurudev's presence is central to the Maharudra Homam. While the rituals are performed by trained Vedic Pandits from the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan, Gurudev acts as the guiding spiritual force. His sankalpa or intention holds immense power. He often shares that when a master sits with thousands in meditation, the impact is exponential. Gurudev energizes the atmosphere with silence, knowledge, and blessings. He connects seekers from around the world, many of whom may not know the mantras, with the subtle essence of the ritual, making it experiential rather than intellectual. Gurudev's guidance ensures that the homam does not remain a mere external fire ritual but becomes an inner yajna where participants offer their fears, negativity, and limitations into the fire of transformation. For devotees, the experience of sitting in the homam with Gurudev is unparalleled. Many report profound stillness, healing, and even tears of release. In essence, Gurudev anchors the ritual in consciousness, ensuring its universal reach. Now, could you describe the structure of the Maharudra Homam and what happens step by step? Yes, Jagadev, the Maharudra Homam follows a highly precise Vedic structure. It begins with Purvanga Kriyas, a preliminary rituals such as Ganapati Puja, remover of obstacles, and Kalashthapana, invoking the deity in water pots, and Sankalpa or collective intention. Then the recitation of Sri Rudram from the Yajurveda begins, accompanied by systematic offerings into the fire. The 11 Anuvakas or sections are chanted multiple times, invoking different aspects of Rudra. Offerings include ghee, bilva leaves, herbs, and grains, each carrying symbolic significance. The fire acts as a medium between the visible and invisible realms, carrying prayers directly to the cosmos. After the main Havan, Purnahuti is offered, an elaborate fire offering symbolizing the completion of the ritual. The event culminates with the collective chanting, blessings, and meditation led by Gurudev. Each stage is not just symbolic but vibrational, designed to purify prana, mind, and environment. At the center, the grandeur is amplified by thousands chanting in unison, creating an unforgettable experience of collective resonance. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam impact the environment and collective consciousness? Science today confirms what the rishis knew: sound, intention, and energy profoundly affect the environment. The chanting of Sri Rudram generates powerful vibrations that harmonize the atmosphere. Many who attend the Homam speak of a palpable stillness in the air, a freshness in the surroundings, and even changes in the weather. Gurudev often explains that rituals like these purify not only the mind but also the collective consciousness of society. Anger, restlessness, and conflict in the environment are reduced. Just as a single lamp dispels darkness in a room, a yajna performed with thousands amplifies positivity on a massive scale. The fire element absorbs negativity and radiates healing vibrations, balancing ecological and psychological energies. In fact, research into Vedic rituals has shown reduced pollution and increased microbial balance in the air post yajna. Thus, the Maharudra Homam is not just a spiritual celebration, it's an ecological and societal service harmonizing inner and outer worlds. Now, how are the Vedic Pandits selected to perform the Maharudra Homam? The selection of Pandits for the Maharudra Homam is a careful process. The Vedic Dharma Sansthan ensures that only highly trained scholars of the Krishna Yajurveda, those who have mastered Sri Rudram and Chamakam, are chosen. Many of these Pandits are not only proficient in chanting but also lead lives steeped in discipline, purity, and devotion. A yajna is not just about mantra recitation, the vibration depends greatly on the purity of the chanter's lifestyle. Before arriving at the Art of Living International Center, these Pandits undergo additional preparation, fasting, sankalpa, and observation of silence. They also synchronize with the global community by participating in satsangs at the center. Gurudev often and always highlights that the authenticity of the ritual depends on both technical precision and the inner state of the priest. Their chanting, aligned with intention, creates a sacred feel that supports transmission. Thus, the Homam becomes a bridge where scriptural mastery meets the living presence of the master. Now, what role do volunteers play in the successful conduct of the Homam? Volunteers are the lifeblood of the Maharudra Homam at the Art of Living International Center. From arranging the vast pandal and seating for thousands to preparing the samagri or ritual ingredients, every detail is lovingly managed by Seva warriors. Gurudev has often said that Seva purifies the doer and even more than the receiver. For the Homam, volunteers decorate the stage with flowers, arrange sacred kalashas, distribute prasad, and guide participants during the rituals. Importantly, they also maintain silence and discipline, ensuring the sanctity of the space. Many volunteers report that the Seva experience itself feels like an inner yajna, where they offer their time, energy, and skills into a higher cause. In fact, the Homam would be impossible at such a large scale without their dedication. For participants, seeing volunteers work joyfully and selflessly becomes inspiring, reinforcing the sense that the Homam is not just a ritual but a living expression of collective devotion. Now, how does Sri Rudram chanting influence the human system according to Vedic knowledge? Sri Rudram is considered the most potent hymn in the Vedas. It directly addresses Rudra in all his forms, fierce and gentle, destructive and protective. Chanting Sri Rudram creates powerful vibrations in the nadis or the subtle energy channels. The repetitive invocation of Namah surrenders the ego, calming the nervous system. From a Vedic standpoint, the sound frequencies of Rudram align the human body with the cosmic rhythms. The vibrations stimulate the chakras, particularly the Agya or the third eye, and Anahat or the heart chakra, leading to clarity and compassion. Modern studies show that Vedic chanting reduces stress hormones and enhances brain coherence at the Art of Living International Center. When thousands chant together, the resonance magnifies manifold. Uh, Gurudev often explains that Rudram chanting acts like a reset button for the mind, dissolving anger, fear, and anxiety. For seekers, it is both a healing practice and a meditative journey, opening them to deeper silence. Now, how do international participants unfamiliar with Sanskrit experience the Homam? One of the most beautiful aspects of the Maharudra Homam at the center is its inclusivity. People from over 100 countries attend, many of whom do not understand Sanskrit yet. They report profound inner experiences. This is because the Homam transcends language. Gurudev often says that consciousness responds not to words but to vibrations and intentions. Even if participants cannot follow the mantras, the energy of the chants, the presence of the master, and the collective silence touch them deeply. To aid understanding, translations and explanations are provided beforehand. Volunteers guide participants, international guests, through the rituals, helping them connect with the offerings as inner processes, letting go of negativity, embracing strength, and invoking peace. Many foreigners describe the home as a once in a lifetime experience, often moved to tears despite linguistic barriers. It shows that the Maharudra Homam is not about intellectual comprehension but about direct experiential connection to the divine. Now, how is the Maharudra Homam connected to environmental balance and sustainability? Vedic rituals were designed with ecological sensitivity. The Maharudra Homam uses natural samagri like ghee, herbs, grains, and bilva leaves that release beneficial substances when offered into fire. Modern scientific studies on yagyas indicate a reduction in harmful bacteria, purification of air, and balancing of atmospheric energies. The smoke from ghee and medicinal herbs acts like a natural disinfectant, improving the microclimate. Gurudev often emphasizes that spiritual practices must also serve nature, and the Homam is a profound example of this. By invoking Rudra, the cosmic force of transformation, the ritual also harmonizes the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. This restores balance not only within individuals but also in the larger environment. At the International Center, the scale of the Homam makes this ecological impact noticeable. Attendees often remark on the freshness of the air and the unusual clarity of the atmosphere. In essence, the ritual embodies ancient eco consciousness, serving humanity and nature simultaneously. Now, how does the fire element in the Homam function as a medium of transformation? In the Vedic tradition, Agni or fire is regarded as a divine messenger. Whatever is offered into the fire is carried to the higher realms. From a subtle perspective, fire has the unique quality of transforming matter into energy. When participants offer grains, herbs, or ghee, it is symbolic of surrendering their impurities, desires, and limitations. Fire consumes these and radiates back purified energy. Gurudev explains that the external fire mirrors the inner fire of awareness. Just as Agni transforms offerings, inner awareness transforms ignorance into wisdom. Moreover, fire represents clarity and illumination. When thousands gaze upon the Yagya Kunda, they are reminded of their own inner brilliance. The warmth of the flames, the crackling sounds, and the rising smoke create a multi-sensory experience that draws the mind inward. Thus, the fire is not just a physical element but a sacred conduit for inner and outer transformation during the Maharudra Homam. Now, how does participating in the Homam affect one's personal karma? The Vedas describe yagyas as purifiers of karma. Every action we perform leaves impressions, some harmonious, as others binding. The Maharudra Homam, by invoking Lord Rudra, dissolves negative karmic patterns. The chanting of Sri Rudram repeatedly offers salutations to Rudra in all his forms, symbolizing surrender of doership. This weakens the hold of past karmas. Just as sunlight melts snow, the fire of Rudra Homam melts accumulated negativity. Gurudev explains that karmas are like seeds, some are ready to sprout, while others lie dormant. The vibrations of the Homam burn the sprouting seeds of suffering, granting participants relief from unseen burdens. Many attendees report feeling lighter, freer, and more positive afterwards. Importantly, the Homam also generates punya or merit, which brings protection and blessings in life. It's not escapism, but alignment with the cosmic law, ensuring that one's actions move towards dharma and harmony. Now, why is Lord Shiva invoked as Rudra during this ritual instead of his other forms? Lord Shiva is infinite and his forms are countless. Shankara the benevolent, Mahadeva the supreme, Nataraja the cosmic dancer. However, during the Homam, it is Rudra who is invoked. Rudra represents the fierce yet compassionate aspect of Shiva, the remover of sorrow or dukkha. The name itself comes from Rudra, meaning to weep, and Dra, meaning to drive away. Rudra is the one who drives away tears. This is why the Sri Rudram hymn is central. It acknowledges Rudra's terrifying aspects, but simultaneously seeks his blessings for peace, health, and prosperity. Now, Gurudev often shares that Rudra energy is about destruction of negativity, not of pride. It is like fire. It burns impurities but warms those who approach with sincerity. Invoking Rudra ensures that participants are freed from obstacles and are empowered to walk their spiritual path fearlessly. Thus, the choice of Rudra is deliberate, aligning with the transformative power of the Homam. Now, what is the connection between silence or Mona and the Homam at the center? Jayudev, silence is the invisible thread running through the Maharudra Homam at the Art of Living International Center. While the Pandits stand and the fire blazes, Gurudev guides participants into deep meditations and silences spirit between the rituals. This silence is not emptiness but fullness, the field where the mantras settle. According to Vedic wisdom, sound arises from silence and returns to silence. Without silence, mantras are incomplete. Gurudev often reminds seekers that while offerings purify the outer environment, silence purifies the inner world. In fact, the impact of the Homam is multiplied when participants maintain inner stillness instead of mental chatter. Many foreigners and first time participants find this silence more transformative than the ritual itself. It is during these moments that the heart connects directly with the divine. Beyond words, the fusion of mantra and mana creates a profound spiritual alchemy, making the Homam a living meditation rather than a mechanical ritual. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam align with the global vision of Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji? Jai Gurudev, Gurudev's vision has always been of a stress-free, violence-free world. The Maharudra Homam fits seamlessly into this global mission. On the one hand, it preserves and celebrates the depth of India's Vedic heritage, showcasing its universality. On the other, it provides a practical tool for modern society, reducing stress, healing communities, and uplifting consciousness. Gurudev often emphasizes that spirituality is not just personal but societal. When thousands gather for the Homam, their collective intention for peace and harmony radiates across borders. This is why the Homam attracts participants from every continent. It becomes a global festival of unity where ancient chants meet modern seekers and the fire rituals meet meditation. In this way, the Maharudra Homam is not confined to tradition but becomes a living contribution to humanity. It embodies Gurudev's message that ancient wisdom, when practiced with sincerity, can solve contemporary problems and unite diverse cultures. Now, what preparations do devotees undertake before attending the Maharudra Homam? Jagadev, preparation is as important as participation. Devotees are encouraged to observe simple disciplines before attending the Maharudra Homam. Many choose to fast lightly or eat sattvic food, grains, fruits, and vegetarian meals so that the body feels light. Some engage in japa or chanting of Om Namah Shivaya to align with Rudra's energy. Others practice silence or mauna or reduce social distractions in the days leading up to Navratri. At the Art of Living International Center, morning sadhana, sudarshan kriya, and guided meditations are conducted daily so that participants enter the homam in a settled state. Gurudev often advises seekers to come with an open heart rather than rigid expectations. The preparation is not merely physical but mental, letting go of stress, forgiving others, and offering gratitude. When the inner vessel is clean, the vibrations of the homam settle more deeply. Thus, preparation is an inner cleansing that complements the outer ritual. Now, how do children and youth experience the Maharudra Homam? Jagadev, it is heartwarming to see children and youth actively participating in the Maharudra Homam at the center. For children, the Homam is a feast for the senses, the colors of flowers, the sound of chants, the warmth of the fire. While they may not grasp the intellectual significance, they absorb the vibrations naturally. Gurudev emphasizes that exposing children to such rituals imprints positivity and reverence in their subconscious. Youth, on the other hand, often find the Homam grounding. Many come from busy, technology driven lives, and the silence and energy of the home bring them back to their roots. The Art of Living Youth volunteers from Yes Plus and Wild TP programs often serve during the rituals, helping with organization, decoration, and guiding participants or prasad distribution. This seva gives them a sense of ownership and pride in preserving tradition. For both children and youth, the Maharudra Homam becomes a formative spiritual memory that anchors them in values of devotion, service, and inner strength. Now, what is the significance of Bilwa leaves in the offerings? Yeah, the Bilva or Bale leaves are central to the Maharudra Homam. Scriptures describe them as extremely dear to Lord Shiva. The trifoliate structure of the leaf represents Shiva's three eyes, the sun, the moon, and the fire, and also the three gunas of nature, the sattva and the rajas and the tamas. Offering Bilva leaves symbolizes surrendering all aspects of our life into Shiva's care. The leaves' medicinal properties are equally significant. When burned in the fire, Bilva releases subtle healing vibrations into the environment. It is believed to purify the atmosphere and harmonize energies. Gurudev often says that Bilwa leaves remind us to live with simplicity and surrender. Just as the leaf offers itself completely into the fire without resistance, seekers are invited to offer their ego, desires, and burdens into the homam. This act of surrender brings immense relief, opening the heart to grace. This bilwa is not just a leaf but a sacred symbol of devotion, healing, and transformation. Now, how is the Maharudra Homam different from other homams like Ganapati or Lakshmi Homam? Jagadev, each home has a unique purpose. Ganapati Homam removes obstacles and grants new beginnings, while Lakshmi Homam invites abundance and prosperity. The Maharudra Homam, however, is comprehensive. It invokes Rudra in his countless forms, seeking both removal of negativity and bestowal of blessings. In terms of scale, it is far grander, requiring multiple priests, elaborate chanting of Sri Rudram and Chamakam, and extended hours of offerings. Gurudev often explains that while other homams are like specialized medicines, the Maharudram homam is like a master tonic. It purifies, heals, and protects and uplifts us simultaneously. Moreover, the energy of Shiva as Rudra is universal, touching every aspect of life. health, relationships, prosperity, spiritual growth, and ecological balance. For this reason, devotees consider it the crown jewel of Navratri rituals. Experiencing the Maharudra Homam even once is said to bestow blessings equal to many smaller rituals combined. Now, how does the collective chanting during the Homam differ from individual chanting? Jagadav, chanting alone is powerful, but chanting together multiplies the effect exponentially. In Vedic understanding, when mantras are chanted in unison, the sound waves synchronize and create a resonant field. This collective resonance purifies not only the participants but also the entire environment. Gurudev often draws a parallel. One violin may sound beautiful, but an orchestra creates magic. Similarly, when thousands chant Sri Rudram together at the Art of Living International Center, the energy becomes tangible. Participants often describe it as if the very air vibrates with devotion. Scientific studies show that group chanting reduces stress and fosters feeling of connectedness. On a subtle level, it dissolves individuality and creates a sense of unity. In the Maharudra Homam, this collective chanting transforms the ritual from a ceremony into a living experience of oneness. It is not just voices joining, but hearts merging into a single prayer for peace and harmony. Now, what is the role of Chamakam recitation in the Maharudra Homam? Jagadavyas Chamakam is the companion hymn to Sri Rudram, and together they form the essence of the Maharudra Homam. While Rudram praises and invokes Lord Rudra, Chamakam requests blessings. The word Chamakam itself means may you grant me. But it is not about selfish desires, it is a prayer for holistic fulfillment, health, strength, prosperity, knowledge, harmony, and ultimately liberation. Each Anuvaka or section of Chamakam lists aspects of life from the simplest daily needs to the highest spiritual goals in the Homam. Its recitation balances surrender or Rudram with receptivity or Chamakam. Gurudev explains that Rudram clears negativity while Chamakam invites abundance in every dimension of life. This combination ensures that the ritual does not merely dissolve problems but also plants seeds of positivity for the future. Thus, Chamakam makes the Maharudra Homam complete, acknowledging both renunciation and celebration as integral parts of spiritual life. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam support healing at the physical and mental levels? Participants often share remarkable healing experiences during or after the Maharudra Homam. Physically, the smoke from ghee, bilwa, and herbs purifies the air and has therapeutic effects. Ancient texts mention that yagya fumes act as disinfectants and strengthen immunity. Mentally, the rhythmic chanting of Sri Rudram induces coherence in brain waves, leading to calmness, focus, and emotional balance. Gurudev explains that Rudra is the remover of sorrow, and invoking him dissolves fear, anxiety, and grief. Many attendees report relief from chronic stress, better sleep, and even recovery from lingering health issues. Of course, the Homam is not a substitute for medical care, but it complements healing by uplifting prana or life force. The collective meditations led by Gurudev deepen this healing process as silence allows the body and mind to reset. In a sense, the Maharudra Homam works as holistic therapy, nourishing body, mind, and spirit simultaneously. Now, what is the significance of a Purnahuti in the Maharudra Homam? There, the Purnahuti means a complete offering and marks the culmination of the Homam. Throughout a ritual, many smaller offerings are made, but Purnahuti gathers all of them into one final comprehensive act of surrender. Symbolically, it represents offering the totality of one's life, the successes, failures, joys, and burdens into the divine fire. A mixture of sacred items, including grains, herbs, fruits, flowers, and sometimes precious metals, is offered during Purna Ahuti. The flames rise high, signifying the acceptance of the prayer by the divine. Gurudev often emphasizes that Purna Ahuti is the point where participants should let go, completely trusting that their sankalpas or intentions are carried to the cosmic realm. At the Art of Living Center, the Purna Ahuti is followed by collective chanting and deep silence, leaving participants with a sense of wholeness. It is like the final note of a symphony, bringing closure, fulfillment, and blessings. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam strengthen community bonding? One of the most beautiful outcomes of the Maharudra Homam is the sense of togetherness it fosters. People from different countries, languages, and backgrounds sit side by side in prayer and meditation. Differences melt away in the collective vibration of Sri Rudram. Seva teams from across the world work together seamlessly, decorating, cooking, organizing, and chanting. Gurudev often says that a family that prays together stays together, and the Homam creates a global family. The sense of belonging that arises is extraordinary for many. Friendships formed during Navratri continue lifelong. Participants experience that spirituality is not isolation but connection, first with oneself, then with others, and finally with the divine. In a world often divided by religion, culture, and politics, The Maharudra Homam serves as a living example of unity in diversity. It shows that when people gather with a higher purpose, a harmony flows naturally. Now, how do the Navratri celebrations at the Art of Living Center, including the Maharudra Homam, impact global peace efforts? The world today faces unrest, conflict, and environmental imbalances. Navratri celebrations at the Art of Living International Center, especially the Maharudra Homam, contribute to global peace in subtle yet profound ways. The Sankalpa of the home is not limited to individuals but extends to the entire planet. The vibrations generated by collective chanting and offerings uplift the global consciousness, reducing aggression and fostering harmony. Gurudev has often pointed out that just as meditation by individuals reduces stress, mass spiritual gatherings and homas and pujas create ripples of peace worldwide. This is why leaders, diplomats, and social activists attend these events. They recognize the unseen but real impact on societies. The Homam thus becomes both a spiritual ritual and a peace movement. It embodies the principle that lasting peace cannot be enforced externally, it must arise from within individuals and communities. The Maharudra Homam offers this inner shift on a global scale. Now, how do devotees experience inner transformation during the Homam? For many devotees, the Maharudra Homam is not just a ritual but a turning point in their inner journey. As the chanting progresses, they often notice a shift in their mind from restlessness to calm, from heaviness to lightness. Gurudev explains that the Homam works like a mirror, it reflects what lies inside us, then gently burns away what no longer serves us. As some devotees feel tears of release, others experience spontaneous joy or deep silence. This transformation is subtle yet powerful. It is as though layers of conditioning are peeled away, revealing the inner core of peace. The fire becomes a symbol of the inner flame of awareness, and every offering into it feels like letting go of a burden. Participants leave with a renewed sense of clarity and strength, often describing it as a rebirth in the same life. Thus, the Maharudra Homam catalyzes a profound inner shifts. Now, what is the role of sound vibrations in the success of the homam? In Vedic ritual, sound is not secondary, it is the very essence. The specific intonations of Sri Rudram and Chamakam are designed to create precise vibrational patterns. These vibrations harmonize the human system and the environment simultaneously. Sound waves influence the water content in our bodies, balance the brain hemispheres, and activate subtle energy centers. Gurudev often remarks that Vedic mantras are sound technology crafted by rishis after deep meditation. Unlike ordinary speech, these chants are not about meaning alone, but about resonance. During the Maharudra Homam, thousands of voices chanting in perfect rhythm generate a field of coherence and transcends logic. Even those who do not understand Sanskrit feel uplifted, which proves that vibration, not translation, is the key. The sound becomes a carrier of divine energy, dissolving negativity and invoking harmony. Thus, sound is the invisible architect of the Homam's success. Now, how is the home adapted to accommodate such a large number of participants at the center? The Art of Living International Center in Bengaluru is uniquely equipped to host the Maharudra Homam at a grand scale. A massive pandal is erected capable of seating thousands. Multiple yagya kundas are set up so that the energy is distributed evenly. Large screens display the rituals, enabling everyone to follow along. Volunteers guide participants in synchronized offerings and meditations. Translation services are provided in several languages for international guests. Importantly, Gurudev ensures that the essence of the Homam is not lost in logistics. He personally leads meditations and moments of silence that anchor everyone together. Meals, accommodations, and transport are organized meticulously by Seva teams. The atmosphere feels like a spiritual festival, yet everything runs smoothly with the precision and care. The adaptation is not dilution, it is expansion, showing that ancient rituals can be conducted authentically even in modern large scale settings. Now, what is the deeper meaning of offering grains, fruits, and herbs into the fire? Jagadev, every offering in the Maharudra Homam carries a symbolic meaning. Grains represent sustenance and prosperity, fruits symbolize the results of action, and herbs embody healing. Offering them into the fire signifies surrendering both material and spiritual aspects of life to the divine. In a way, devotees say, all that nourishes me is all that I achieve, and all that heals me I return to you. The act of burning also teaches impermanence. Nothing truly belongs to us. Gurudev explains that these offerings are outer symbols of inner surrender, letting go of ego, desires, and attachment. Just as ghee fuels the fire, surrender fuels spiritual growth. The transformation of solid offerings into subtle smoke reminds seekers that life is a journey from gross to subtle, from matter to spirit. Thus, every handful of grain or herb placed in the fire becomes a profound act of devotion and awakening. Now, how do silence and meditation guided by Gurudev enhance the Homam's effect? The Maharudra Homam is not just about external rituals, it is equally about the inner journey. Gurudev masterfully weaves silence and meditation into the Homam. After chanting or offerings, he often leads the gatherings into moments of deep stillness. This silence allows the vibrations of the mantras to settle in the nervous system. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. The mantra is the seed, and silence is the soil where it grows. Participants report that these meditations take them to depths they have never experienced before. Some feel their minds dissolve completely, while others sense a vast expansion of awareness. Gurudev's presence amplifies the process, guiding thousands effortlessly into stillness. Without meditation, the Homam would remain an external act. With it, the ritual becomes alive within each participant. Silence transforms the Homam from ceremony to direct spiritual experience, making it deeply personal and universally powerful. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam balance both material and spiritual aspirations of devotees? Yes, Jagadev, the Maharudra Homam is unique in its ability to address both aspects of life, the material well being and spiritual evolution. On the material level, the chanting of Rudra and the offerings into Agni are said to remove obstacles, grant prosperity, and ensure health and longevity. This is why kings and communities in ancient times would conduct this yagya to ensure collective welfare. On the spiritual plane, the Homam purifies karma, dissolves inner blocks, and awakens the awareness of the self. Gurudev often reminds us that the divine does not deny worldly success, instead, it aligns our desires with a higher wisdom. Thus, devotees come with different intentions, some for family harmony, some for business prosperity, others for inner peace, but all leave with a deeper connection to the divine. In essence, the Homam bridges heaven and earth, reminding us that true fulfillment is when material life is infused with spiritual awareness. Now, what role does a fire or Agni play as a divine messenger in the Homam? Agni is central to all Vedic rituals, and in the Maharudra Homam, it becomes the medium that carries offerings to the divine. The Rig Veda calls Agni the mouth of the gods. When devotees place grains, ghee, and herbs into the fire, it is not just combustion, it is a transformation. The physical offering becomes subtle energy rising as smoke and vibration, reaching the higher realms. Gurudev beautifully explains that Agni is not only outer fire but also the inner fire of consciousness. When we offer something into the Homam, it is as though we are offering it into our own inner Agni, the fire of awareness that digests experiences and transforms ignorance into wisdom. Thus, the fire plays a dual role externally as a messenger to the divine and internally as a purifier of our own consciousness. This is why Agni is revered as a sacred and indispensable. Now, how do children and youth benefit from attending the Maharudra Homam? Children and youth are highly sensitive to vibrations, and the Maharudra Homam provides them with a powerful positive imprint. Even if they don't fully understand the meaning of mantras, they absorb the energy of discipline, devotion, and silence. The rhythmic chants improve concentration while the collective prayers nurture compassion and respect for tradition. Gurudev emphasizes that exposing young minds to such experiences plant seeds of spirituality that will blossom later in life. Youth often feel inspired to take up seva, meditation, or learning mantras themselves. For children, the visuals of fire offerings, flowers, and chanting create lasting impressions of sacredness in a world of distractions. Such experiences ground them in values of gratitude and surrender. The Homam is thus not just for adults seeking solutions but also a heritage transmission, ensuring that the wisdom of Sanatana Dharma flows naturally to the next generation. Now, how is the Maharudra Homam connected to environmental harmony? Yes, Jagadath, the Homam is not only a spiritual act but also an ecological blessing. The herbs, ghee, and wood used in the fire produce subtle medicinal vapors that purify the air. Studies on yagyas have shown reductions in airborne bacteria and improvement in atmospheric balance. Gurudev highlights that when thousands chant in unison, the vibrations align with nature's frequencies, creating coherence in the environment. The home also honors the five elements earth, water, fire, air, and space, restoring balance in the natural world. In times of climate change, such practices remind us that spirituality and ecology are not separate. At the Bengaluru ashram, the Homam is often followed by tree planting, seva in surrounding villages, and water conservation projects, practical extensions of the ritual. Thus, the Maharudra Homam heals not only human hearts but also the environment, affirming the Vedic principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. Now, how does the presence of Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji elevate the Homam? While the Maharudra Homam is powerful on its own, the presence of a realized master like Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji transforms it into an extraordinary event. A master radiates energy that amplifies every mantra and offering. Devotees often report feeling waves of bliss or subtle moments of silence simply by being in his presence. Gurudev embodies the essence of Rudra, compassionate yet powerful, detached yet deeply caring. His guidance ensures that the ritual is not mechanical but alive with devotion and awareness. He bridges the gap between the ancient tradition and modern seekers, making the experience accessible without losing authenticity. Many participants say that watching Gurudev perform a simple mudra or close his eyes in meditation during the Homam feels like witnessing eternity itself. Thus, his presence turns the Homam from a ritual into a living spiritual transmission, uplifting everyone beyond words. Now, how does one prepare oneself mentally and spiritually before attending the Maharudra Homam? Preparation is as important as the participation. Gurudev advises devotees to come with a clear, open heart, free from grudges or heavy expectations. A few days before the Homa, many observe light fasting, simple vegetarian food, and regular chanting of Om Namah Shivaya or Sri Rudram. Meditation and silence also help the mind settle. More than external preparation, it is the inner readiness that matters. Coming with gratitude, humility, and surrender makes the experience profound. Gurudev often says, don't come to the Homa with a shopping list of desires, come with openness, and what is truly best for you will manifest. When devotees enter with reverence rather than demand, the blessings flow naturally. In essence, the best preparation is dropping control and entering the home as a child, innocent, receptive, and ready to be transformed by divine grace. Now, why is the Maharudra Homam performed especially during Navratri at the Art of Living Center? Navratri is a time when cosmic energy is highly supportive of transformation. The 9 nights represent the triumph of positive forces over negativity, and Goddess Durga's Shakti is invoked in all her forms. Performing the Maharudra Homam during this period aligns human intention with the cosmic rhythms. Rudra as Shiva is the destroyer of negativity, and Devi as Shakti is the nurturer of positivity. Together, they create balance. Gurudev explains that Navratri is a natural spiritual detox for the planet, and the Homam becomes a powerful tool within this framework. At the Bengaluru Ashram, Navratri is not just celebration but deep spiritual practice. Yajna, satsang, silence programs, and seva all come together. The Maharudra Homam during Navratri is therefore not coincidental. It is deliberate timing to maximize spiritual, ecological, and collective benefits. It turns the festival into a planetary healing event. Now, how does a collective chanting during the Homam influence the atmosphere? When thousands of people chant together, something extraordinary happens. The sound vibrations create a resonance field that is far greater than individual chanting. Scientists call this coherence, where waves align and amplify each other. In the Homam, the chants of Sri Rudram and Chamakam ripple through the environment, creating a palpable energy shift. Even birds and animals in the ashram respond. They become unusually calm during the ritual. Participants describe the atmosphere as charged yet serene, as though invisible currents are flowing through the air. Gurudev often says that collective chanting is the fastest way to uplift human consciousness because it transcends individual ego and merges everyone into one vibration. In such a state, healing happens effortlessly, stress dissolves, harmony emerges, and inner silence deepens. The atmosphere becomes so vibrant that even skeptics leave with a sense of awe and reverence. Now, what is the role of discipline and precision in conducting the Maharudra Homam? Vedic rituals demand absolute precision not just in pronunciation of mantras, but in timing, posture, and offerings and sequence. This precision is not rigidity but alignment with the cosmic laws. Just as a scientific experiment requires exact steps for results, so does a homam. The trained pandits of the Vedic Dhammasasthan spend years mastering intonation and ritual discipline. Gurudev emphasizes that discipline in rituals cultivates discipline in life. When thousands witness the meticulous rhythm of the homam, they are inspired to bring order and mindfulness into their own routines. Even volunteers learn the value of timing, coordination, and attention to detail. A true seva precision also ensures purity. Incorrect chants can distort vibrations, while exact pronunciation unlocks the mantra's full potency. Thus, discipline is the backbone of the Maharudra Homam, turning it into a perfect symphony of devotion, energy, and knowledge. Now, how does the Homam help dissolve individual and collective karmas? The karma is essentially the residue of past actions stored as impressions in the mind and energy body. The Maharudra Homam works like a spiritual fire that burns these residues. Individually, participants feel lighter as though some invisible burden has been lifted. Collectively, when thousands pray together, karmic patterns of society also begin to shift. Conflicts reduce, harmony increases, and prosperity flows more naturally. Gurudev explains that the Homam creates A spiritual insurance, it dissolves unseen obstacles before they manifest. For example, devotees often share how family disputes eased or unexpected support arrived after attending the home. It is not magic but a deep purification process where energy blockages dissolve. Collective karma, wars, natural disasters, social unrest also reduces when large scale yajnas are performed. The Homam reminds us that karma is not destiny. With awareness, devotion, and divine grace, it can be transformed. Now, how do international participants connect with the Maharudra Homam spiritually? International participants are often arrive curious but unfamiliar with Sanskrit or Vedic rituals. Surprisingly, many report profound spiritual experiences. Gurudev emphasizes that spirituality transcends language, the vibrations of mantras, the sacred fire, the collective intention speak directly to the heart. Even if participants do not understand every word, they feel peace, clarity, and a sense of connectedness. Volunteers explain the symbolic meanings of offerings and the purpose of rituals, making it accessible. Many first time international attendees describe moments of tears, bliss, or deep silence. The Homam becomes a bridge between culture, showing that devotion, surrender, and meditation are universal. By participating actively through chanting, offering, or silence, seekers feel inclusion and transformation, experiencing that the energy of the Homam is not bound by geography or language. Now, what is the spiritual significance of offering ghee into the fire? Ghee, clarified butter, is one of the most sacred offerings in Vedic rituals. It symbolizes purity, nourishment, and devotion. When offered into the fire, ghee fuels the flames and acts as a conduit for spiritual energy. Gurudev explains that the act of offering ghee represents surrender of one's ego and attachment. What is most nourishing to the self is offered back to the divine. The fire transforms the physical ghee into subtle energy, radiating blessings outwards. Beyond symbolism, ghee has medicinal properties. Its smoke enhances air quality, reduces toxins, and balances the environment. Each offering is a deliberate act of mindfulness, teaching participants that what we give with sincerity multiplies manifold. Ghee, therefore, is both practical and spiritual, a bridge between the tangible and the intangible. Now, how is the energy of the Maharudra Homa maintained throughout the 9 days of Navratri? Sustaining the energy of the home across 9 days requires careful planning and continuous devotion. At the Art of Living Center, rituals are conducted daily with precise timings, mantras, and offerings. Volunteers maintain sanctity and participants engage in morning and evening meditations, chanting, and seva. Gurudev emphasizes that the energy is cumulative. Each day builds upon the previous day's vibrations. Collective consciousness is maintained through discipline, silence, and meditation, ensuring that the entire ashram resonates with the positivity. Even when new participants arrive, they are gradually absorbed into this new energy field. The presence of experienced pandits, continuous chanting of Rudra, and synchronized offerings create a continuous flow of spiritual vibration. By the final day, the ashram vibrates with a heightened consciousness, leaving all attendees profoundly transformed. Now, how does seva during the Homam enhance spiritual growth? Seva or selfless service is a central aspect of the Maharudra Homam. Volunteers take care of seating, decoration, samagri, prasad distribution, and guiding participants. Gurudev says that seva purifies the doer more than the receiver. When one serves without expectation, the ego diminishes and the heart opens to universal love. Volunteers often share that seva during the Homam feels like a spiritual sadhana. Moments of silence, awareness, and devotion naturally emerge while organizing. Even mundane tasks like carrying water or arranging flowers become acts of grace. Seva aligns the action with the intention, integrating spiritual practice into daily life. Participants and volunteers alike feel a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment, realizing that contributing to the home's success is itself a conduit for blessings and inner transformation. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam influence emotional healing? Emotional healing is one of the most commonly reported benefits of the Maharudra Homam. The combination of mantra vibrations, sacred fire, meditation, and silence creates a subtle environment where suppressed emotions surface gently and safely. Gurudev often explains that Rudra energy removes accumulated mental stress and fear, allowing clarity and peace to emerge. Many participants describe crying spontaneously, feeling lightness in their hearts, or experiencing inner joy. The collective energy amplifies this process. When thousands release negativity simultaneously, the vibration is intensified over time. Such experiences reduce anxiety, increase emotional resilience, and foster forgiveness both toward self and others. The homam, therefore, is not just a ritual but a structured field for emotional detoxification where grace and healing flow naturally through spiritual energy. Now, how does the homam help in reducing stress and anxiety? The Maharudra Homam creates a highly supportive environment for stress relief. The combination of mantra chanting, meditation, and the sacred fire helps regulate the nervous system. Participants often notice a drop in tension,
calmer breathing, and clarity of mind. Gurudev explains that Rudra energy removes the mental clutter, fears, and accumulated stress, allowing the inner mind to reset. The collective vibration generated by thousands chanting Sri Rudram aligns brain waves into coherence, reducing anxiety. Even first-time participants report feeling lighter and more focused after attending in a modern fast-paced world. The Homam acts as both a spiritual detox and a therapeutic intervention, offering mental balance and emotional stability in a natural and holistic way. Now, how is the Homam a tool for spiritual awakening? The Maharudra Homam is not just a ritual, it is a path to awakening. The fire symbolizes inner consciousness, the chanting clears mental turbulence, and silence allows participants to connect with the self. Gurudev often explains that true awakening is realizing one's unity with the divine, and the Homam creates the right conditions for this recognition. When devotees offer their ego, desires, and fears into the fire, they experience freedom and clarity. The repeated vibrations of Rudra's name awaken subtle energies in the body, heart, and mind. Many seekers report sudden insights, deep inner silence, and profound bliss. The Homam, therefore, is a catalyst helping participants move from external rituals to inner spiritual realization. Now, how do participants integrate the lessons of the Homam into daily life? The Maharudra Homam teaches the principles of surrender, discipline, focus, and service. Gurudev emphasizes that its benefits are maximized when applied in daily life. Participants often start simple, practicing meditation, chanting at home, offering seva, and observing mindfulness in actions. The inner calm experience during the Homam becomes a reference point for navigating stress, relationships, and challenges. Some incorporate daily prayers or moments of silence, while others consciously act with compassion and detachment. The Homam's energy becomes a living guide, reminding seekers that the spiritual practice is not limited to rituals but is integrated into every thought, word, and action. This continuity strengthens resilience, enhances emotional intelligence, and cultivates peace in a personal and professional life. Now, how does the Maharudra Homam inspire long term devotion and practice? Experiencing the Maharudra Homam often ignites a sustained spiritual journey. Gurudev notes that when participants feel the transformational power of fire, mantras, and collective energy, their hearts are naturally drawn to continued practice, and many take up a regular meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, or mantra chanting. Volunteers deepen their commitment to seva, integrating spirituality into their careers and relationships. The Homam shows that devotion is not heretical, it is lived through practice, attention, and surrender. Over time, this nurtures a stable spiritual foundation, ensuring that the energy and lessons of the Homam ripple through every aspect of life. In short, it becomes a seed from which consistent long term spiritual growth emerges. Now, what is the ultimate message or a blessing for attending the Maharudra Homam? The Maharudra Homam's ultimate message is one of transformation, alignment, and divine grace. Participants leave with a lighter mind, a purified heart, uh, and a sense of inner strength. Gurudev often reminds seekers that the ritual is a mirror of life, surrender, discipline, devotion, and collective harmony lead to fulfillment. The blessings are holistic, removing obstacles, healing body and mind, inspiring service, and awakening higher consciousness. Attending the Homamals instills courage, resilience, and a sense of unity with the divine and the world. It reminds us that peace, prosperity, and spiritual awakening are not separate, they are the natural result of aligning intention, action, and devotion. In essence, the Maharudra Homam transforms lives, uplifts consciousness, and spreads harmony across individuals, communities, and the world.